चलो
ये लो इस बार मैं जीतूंगा ये
हाँ mine
हाँ जी
Papa, tea's ready. Come.
अरे बेटे एक सेकंड दे
Papa, come.
अरे
Strong story and message, and really took a risk in sharing this cultural underbelly and attempting to bring awareness to what's going on and to help empower women and individuals to take back their power and make their choices. It was a strong social message. Really think they brought it along and told it in a way that wasn't too confrontational, but more of a subtle introduction into what's going on. And just thought they did a nice job in bringing awareness.
It's an extremely strong and interesting story. We also learn a lot about how there's so many different cultures and countries that encourage the termination
this,
of...
I think, was extremely important filmmaking, especially because I did not know the extent of the pressure on women from East Indian cultures. It just was not something on my radar, and was told in a really compelling and empathetic manner. First of all, I thought it was very smart by starting off with the main woman making the traditional tea. I believe it's the chai tea, as a ritual and as a grounding into their life and into their home. The pressures and the invasion into her body was very well told. And the one quote, she said, "We pray to the goddess while removing the living one in our own body." That was really sold at home. It was quite emotional. All the actors had a great level of gravity and dedication to their performance for some really difficult subject matter, but it never felt preachy. And I really appreciated at the end the stats and the real world consequences of this fictional story.
I thought this was really intense. I thought it was really well done because it did such a great job of showing rather than explaining throughout the film what the pressure was like, what the culture was like, and that those were like everyday conversations. Like none of that, like the opening conversation when they're like having tea and like gets the news about the friend or whoever it is. I really appreciate the fact that they more showed you and let you come to those conclusions yourself. And when she calls her sister later on and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to the abortion clinic later today," and like how her sister kind of reacts to the whole thing and how normal that is. But it's so interesting to see and to learn about how other cultures are, not just about how their laws work, not just about how their societies are structured, like more about how their societies are structured, but also about like how it goes deeper than that. It goes to the very like culture of the people.
I thought this one was really well done. On the technical side, the cinematography was fantastic. I really enjoyed the lighting throughout this one, a lot of the color choices. The wardrobes were amazing, and as the performances and the writing go, I really loved a lot of it. It was just so grounded. I really enjoyed the easy transition between the two languages. Just felt very naturalistic and really lent some gravity and some believability to it, I think. And then of course the story itself is just it's heartbreaking, and it's something, you know, really needs to be addressed as a society around the globe. So in that regard, I'm glad this one exists, just to help shine a little more light on the situation as it's explained here in the short.
The set was beautiful. Background music was lively. I was fully engrossed in the characters and felt as though I was in India along with them. The stats shown at the end were important, and this is definitely a step in the right direction. to model a strong female lead who isn't afraid to challenge the expectations of her family or the judgments of other families that they might come across in India as well.
It's very interesting. It's. I feel like the most interesting part of it is the way that it was shot, like the choices, because it's very glamorous. It feels like I'm watching like a drug commercial, if that makes sense. Like it's just so colorful and well lit. When subject matter like this typically like would be darker or more dramatic, like with a lot more contrast in it, because the story is very contrasting and the perspectives within it are very contrasting. And so to have this be very colorful, it's interesting because it kind of forces the contrast out basically to the viewer, which I can appreciate.
I thought this one was very, very good. The editing, the cinematography, really, really good, as well as the performance. The performance I thought was excellent because it could come off a little bit cheesy, but the performance from both the actresses and the actors, especially from the kids, I think all of them did a really great job and really telling the story that needs to be told. I love the perspective that the director took in this because it's a view that not a lot of people know. I didn't know not until I saw this film, and I thought it's something that really needs to be shed light on. And in a way like this, the way she executed it and presented it, I think the director did a great job in doing so, both in the writing and everything.
Very emotional and informative about a subject matter that I personally had not been familiar with being a wide-scale issue within a subset of the Indian culture, both abroad and here in the United States. And it's certainly an interesting film to watch from the pro-choice, pro-life stance, because what we're seeing here is an argument that has shades of both ends. The acting in it is very effective and well done, understated where necessary, emotionally wrought where needed. And we see, again, a glimpse into a life that has not been given the necessary platform, I believe, that it should, particularly here in the States. So I'm glad that this film brings this important subject matter to light.